when we go around, we're just collecting checks and fixing people's problems. Pretty much that's all we do on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then through the weekend as well. So when you do work hard on a dial day, the rest of the week just kind of falls into place.
All right, welcome everybody to the Family First Life America Agency Call. I have the honor and privilege of being able to interview one of our new rising star success stories, Mr. Nick Emmick. Nick, you are how old?
19.
19 years old. Okay. And most families ever helped in a month?
50.
19 families helped at 19 years old, helping 50 families, which is absolutely incredible. Tell us a little bit about your background, your story, how you found out about Family First Life, what was attractive about this business to you, and just kind of what your journey's been like so far.
Yeah, so pretty much, so I graduated in 2020. So, I mean, obviously I wasn't the best year to go to college, right? So I went to college the following year. And I went for a year and was stuck in a dorm room. I got to play sports, but still I was stuck in a dorm room. We couldn't really do anything. And then after that year, I was like, I don't feel like going back to college. So then I jumped in the construction industry. I was a carpenter for about 7 months or so. And then I found this, and then I just haven't looked back.
That's awesome, man. So being 19, you don't really have a large resume when it comes to, work experience. What kind of stuff have you done in the past? Did you have other jobs before you came here?
Yeah. I mean, worked at a golf course, swung a hammer. I mean, all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
Yeah.
So guys, I want to make sure that we make it super clear here. You don't have to have some sort of incredible sales background. We're talking about working at a golf course, swinging a hammer, for a couple of years. And Cody said it in the comments, so proud of this kid's work ethic. I think that's going to be the number one thing you guys are going to learn here on this call, that Nick just has an incredible work ethic. And that's how he's been able to go out and, help so many families. So Nick, tell us a little bit about your first, couple weeks in Family First Life, what that looked like, what it was like to dial leads for the first time, what it was like to get in the home for the first time, and just, tell us a little bit more about your experience.
Yeah. So I think initially when I started dialing the phone, like I had zero expectation. So like when somebody picked up on like the third dial, I was like, whoa, like you actually want to talk to me? Right. And like the appointment went super smooth, and I was like, okay. And then the next couple of appointments weren't that easy.
Sure.
After that, my first weekend I did okay, but then my first couple of weeks I struggled to get some footing. And then I haven't looked back since.
So I had a very similar experience when I first got started. I kind of came out the gate swinging, and then I had the next week where, Grady and I say I kind of got kicked in the stomach a little bit, and I got the reality, this is commission-based sales. This is not easy. These are leads. And yeah, there are people in a stack of leads that they're ready to buy insurance. They basically have the voided check, taped to their forehead, and they're ready to go. But then there's also people that it's going to take a little bit of work to be able to reduce that sales pressure and serve that family. So talk to us a little bit about mindset wise, how did you, quickly get through okay, this is a roller coaster of emotions. I made my first sale. Okay. I got my butt kicked. I made another sale. I got my butt kicked. How did you kind of start to stay level and just realize it's just work, it's just activity?
Yeah. So I think, going in with a purpose to every house, right? And like, I knew that I was going there to help them, right? And if they wouldn't let me help them, then whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have another appointment. Right. And then like, I just clear my mind and just go to the next one.
Mm.
I'd figure out what I did wrong in the home before. Right. But I wouldn't hold on to it for too long. It was just a reset, like a different family.
Well, I think you really hit the nail on the head right there. You had more appointments. When you have more appointments, when you come into the day and you've got 3 appointments for the day, and one of them no-shows you, and you sit with 2, and one says, think about it. And then one says yes, but then they cancel it. It's just, you're a little bit more desperate when you're selling. You're a little bit more, you've got that commission breath, and people can feel that. But when you've got 7, 8, 9, 10 appointments for the day, you say, you know what? You're not serious.
You're
You
not
don't really
afraid
want
to
to take
walk
care of
away.
this. You're not afraid to walk away. That's it. So any stories in the field, crazy stories, interesting houses that you sat in, anything that's worth highlighting?
I mean, I've been in some so I run in Philadelphia, right? For the most part. So I've been in some pretty interesting houses, to say the least. I wouldn't say there's one that really stands out. I just remember my first appointment. I sat there with this guy. I was in farm country at the time. I sat with the guy for like 2.5 hours, just had a conversation. I walked in, there was a Marico folder sitting on the table. Right away, I should have just been like, looked at it and said, cool, like, see ya. But instead, I just sat there with him for like 3 hours. And I was like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, why would you waste your time?
Sure. And I think you have so many, especially when you're doing in-home sales, you're going to encounter people who are in super low income situations. You're going to encounter people who are in $1 million homes. You're going to encounter people in the inner city. You're going to go to the farm. And the thing that you realize is that, we can drop any judgment that we have for some of these people, or any preconceived notions of if they can afford it or not afford it. Cause I can't tell you how many times that I've been in, the $1 million home where they were over leveraged and they had, 3 cars and, an expensive mortgage and an RV payment, and they couldn't afford anything. And then I've been in the house that somebody might prejudge, and this person, was saving $700, $800, $900 a month, and they had a lot for life insurance. So it's all about just having a heart to serve the families. Let's go and kind of dig a little bit more into dialing the phone. I think it's probably my favorite topic to talk about. What does your dial day look like? How do you discipline yourself to make sure you get enough appointments? When do you wake up? When do you start dialing? Just kind of walk us through what a typical dial day would look like for Nick.
Yeah. So I get up between 5 and 5:30 usually. And I want to do something active, right? To kind of get like my mind right. So I first wake up, I get a cup of coffee and I read, and then I go work out. I either run or I lift, and it kind of just settles me down for the day. And it's like, okay, I got my first win out of the way. Right. And then I sit down for the phones. I start at 8:00. I haven't really tried 7:30. Maybe I should. But I start at 8:00.
Code. Yeah. 7:30 is a cheat code, man.
Okay. Yeah. So I start at 8. And then I dial till noon, and then I'll take, depending on how many appointments I book by noon. So if I have 13 appointments by noon, I'm going to do more in terms of like back end work, right? I'm going to call clients, try and get stuff issued. But if I only have 5 or 6 by noon, like, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to try and get to my number.
What's the most dials you've ever done in a day?
Couldn't tell you, actually. Like as of recently, but I do remember. So I used to keep a dial tracker. I don't anymore. I probably should. But I think it was 450, and I hand dial everything.
There you go. So, 450. So, there's only 250 boxes on the dial tracker, and some people, they'll stop at 250. Some people will stop at 50, but really the answer is I'm going to go until I get the number of appointments that I need. And I'm sure that if on that day you only had 7 appointments, at 7:00, you would have kept dialing, even if you'd already done 450, you would have done another 75 or another 100, whatever it took to get you to whatever that appointment goal is. So have you had a day where you've had to dial literally all day long until you pretty much can't dial anymore?
Yeah. And those days aren't cool, but the next 2 days are rewarding when you put that work in. When you do work hard on a dial day, the rest of the week just kind of falls into place.
And you do your own dials, correct? You don't have a dialer or anything?
Yes. Yeah, I do all my own dials.
So I feel like we'd be doing a disservice if I didn't test you a little bit and we didn't go through your phone script right now.
Oh boy. Okay.
So if you got it, you're welcome to pull it out. If you want to go, off the cuff, you're welcome to do it that way. We'll just pretend that I'm an internet lead and you're calling me right now. So let's go.
Okay. Ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Jamie.
Yeah, this is Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, this is Nick. I'm a local underwriter here in Philadelphia, and I was just getting back to you about that request that you sent in on the internet, looking for the state-regulated life insurance programs. You put your favorite hobby as golfing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I like to golf.
Okay, gotcha. And I have your date of birth as 9/27, 98. Is that correct as well?
Yeah, that's correct. What was this about again?
It's about that inquiry that you sent in online for the state regulated life insurance programs. I'm just a guy that's assigned to help you out with this. Are you married, single, or divorced?
Married.
Married. What's your wife's age?
31.
Okay, gotcha. So, like I said, Jamie, I'm just a local underwriter that's assigned to help you guys out. All these plans are state approved programs, so no nurse comes out, makes you guys pee in a cup. They don't draw any blood from you, anything like that. They just have me swing by, make sure you're not in a hospital bed or attached to oxygen, and do a quick eligibility to see if you qualify. Are you guys still working? Or are you disabled?
I work, she stays home.
Okay, gotcha. Do you work like a 9 to 5, an 8 to 4? What's that look like for you?
So I'm self-employed. I pretty much work 24/7.
Okay, gotcha. So I usually run my last appointment between 9:30 and 10 o'clock in the evening. Is there any reason you wouldn't be home by then?
That's a little late for me. I'll definitely be home. That's a little late.
Okay, gotcha. I'll put you in. I'll try and swing by a little early and get there by 8:45. But I'll see you tomorrow night, Jamie.
Okay, perfect. All right. You mind if I coach you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So you have great tone and pace. I think that's important. The one thing is that you don't sound like a telemarketer. You're not, hey, Jamie, how you doing today? Jamie, this is Nick getting back. It's real smooth, which is awesome. So you definitely got the voice, the tone, and the pace for it. I think that a lot of people, they have to slow themselves down. If you're a fast talker like I am, I had to tell myself 70% speed. 70%. If I go 70% of the speed, especially if you're talking to most of our clients who are elderly, they need you to go a little bit slower, but it's slow and controlled. I think the big mistake most people make is they go slow, but they pause. And when you pause, it allows the client to jump in, have an objection versus I'm moving on to the next thing, I'm asking the question, and I am going to obviously maintain control. My number one piece of advice for you is just in the tie downs. Obviously, I'm sure you do tie downs, most of the time when you're on the phone
I
here.
usually have them get a piece of paper out or something.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's come back to the tie downs. Tie me down real quick. So rather than me coaching you, let's hear your tie downs, and then we can go from there.
Okay, Jamie. So do you have a piece of paper, or could you get one quick?
Yeah, I can grab one.
Okay. So you got it?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So my name is Nick, Nick.
Okay.
I'm about 6'3", so I'm kind of tall, but I'm a pretty skinny fella. Okay. And I'll see you at 8:45 tomorrow evening.
Okay. Are you giving a state license number, confirmation code, anything like that?
No.
Okay. So obviously to each their own, but we're talking about increasing credibility and reducing sales pressure, guys. So for me, hey, Nick, go grab me a pen and paper, go grab a pen and paper real quick. I'm just required to give you my state license number so you can verify I'm not some crazy person. Because, hey, can you do me a favor and go grab a pen? What do you need it for? Hey, Nick, go grab a pen and paper. I'm required to give you my state license number so you can verify that I am who I say I am. It's a control thing. So now it's also people write things down and they remember them. So, hey, first I want you to write down my name, which is Jamie, Jamie. Our appointment time, 8:45, and my state license number, 19506-854. Hey, Nick, can you repeat that back for me? I can't tell you how many times people didn't write it down. They're like, no, I can't repeat it back. Hey, can you go grab that pen? Okay. Or they repeat it back. And now it's tying it down even further. One thing I also like to do is, hey, just in case I'm lost or I'm having trouble, the GPS, is it going to bring me to your house? Okay. I'm trying to get them to visualize where we are. I'm trying to get them to visualize me actually showing up. What color is your house? Is the numbers on the mailbox or the curb or the garage? Is there a car in the driveway I should be looking out for? And it's just getting them to visualize and, always ending with, I look forward to meeting you and helping you. And it does something. It's like almost like a gag reflex. And they say, thank you. I look forward to meeting you and helping you. Thank you. Okay. Have a good day. And we end the phone call on a good note. So otherwise, man, fantastic. Obviously, like I said, you've got the tone and the pace, which is awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your in-home. So, you knock on the front door. We're sitting down at the table, walk us through just how you set the table and you take control when you get to the home, you find out their why, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So pretty much, if it's a mortgage appointment, I'll walk in, I'll sit down with them. I'll ask them like refinance, new purchase. If it's a refinance, like how long have you lived here? New purchase, like where'd you move from? right? Just simple, kind of just gathering information for me, right? And then I just jump in and I show them a credibility sheet and my state license. And I just explain to them what we're going to do. Like basically, like I said, I'm just an underwriter. So they're just going to have me ask you some health questions and some financial questions. And then once we do that, I just put all your information in my computer and it's like a search engine. It's going to shoot back who the cheapest across the country is going to be. And then obviously once we do that, you just pick the type of coverage that you want and what's going to be affordable to you. And we'll submit a request. And within about 3 to 5 days, we'll know if you get approved or not. Does that sound fair?
Sounds fair.
Okay. And then I pull out the lead and I just ask them like, why'd you fill it out? And I get like their surface why. I don't want them I don't like dig deep in it at this point. Like I just figure out if it's a husband and wife, like if something happens to the husband, we can't stay here. Right. Like I just kind of get that understanding right away, but I don't dig super deep into it at that point. And then I just start going through the financial inventory.
Okay. So we're through the financial inventory. You've put down, however you put your prices on a piece of paper, whether you put one price or three prices. And now I look at it and I say, that one sounds good, but Nick, Katie and I, we don't make decisions ever on the first time that we sit down with someone. We're going to need to think about it.
Yeah. So perfect, Jamie. So I'm just going to back up real quick. So I walk through a budget with them.
Okay.
Right. And I figure out how much they're spending a month. And there's two reasons for this. One, to see if they can afford it. And then two, to see how much they need to live there. Yeah. Right. Like if they both make 3,000 and their bills are 5,000, like there's a problem, right? Yeah. We got to take care of that mortgage. So before I even show them numbers, I ask them if they need it and they'll tell me yes. And I'll be like, okay, you want me to draw up some options for you? And they'll say yes. And then when I do show options and they give me I want to think about it. I'm like, you told me you need this, right? Like she can't stay here when something happens to you. Right. And they'll be like, yeah. I'm like, well, we don't even know if you're approved for this coverage. Let's just submit a request. Within about 3 to 5 days, we'll know if you get approved or not. They'll send you a policy in the next week or two. And then if you want to make any changes, keep it the same, increase it. We can do that at that time, but at least we know you're approved.
That's perfect. Great work, man. Any final words of advice that you'd give a new agent that's trying to come out the gates fast like you? What could they do? What pitfalls could they avoid? What potholes can they jump over so they don't make any of the same mistakes you made?
Yeah, I think one thing I struggled with out the gate was chargebacks, right? And I think I just had poor communication with the clients. I mean, this isn't necessarily something that is talked about a lot, I guess, sure. But definitely making sure that you close it up correctly and let them know what's going to happen, right? But then also when you do find out they get approved, like communicate that to them and like solidify it with them instead of kind of just when you walk out of the house, you're like, and like the weight's lifted.
Sure. I couldn't agree more. From a chargeback perspective, guys, and if you're going to tell somebody they're approved in the home, tell them they're approved in the home. If you're going to be the person that says you're approved in a couple of days, you have to call them when you say that you're going to call them. And when you start running business like Nick, I don't know if you have staff at this point or a virtual assistant. Highly recommend a virtual assistant. Start Virtuals, the great company that we use for Family First Life America. My virtual assistant, I leave the house and I say, hey, if I sell a policy on Tuesday, Wednesday, they're going to call you Thursday morning. If I sell a policy Friday, Saturday, they're going to call you Monday morning. And best believe they call. I sold policies yesterday and Tuesday, and my virtual assistant was calling at 8 a.m. Thursday morning today to let them know that they were approved or denied and what's going to happen next. And it's just about increasing credibility, so that policy stays in the book and doing what you say you're going to do. So thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate you. A lot of value. And we look forward to seeing you at the next big event. Okay.
I appreciate you. Have a good day.